Well, folks, Australia has yet again got targeted by a cybercriminal organization, and while I just recently finished Cyberpunk 2077, I almost feel like I live in the world. On a more serious note, there are actually worrying concerns over this, and it doesn't only affect the Australian citizens, but may as well affect people like you, living in the UK or the US of A. It is, of course, to do with corporate negligence, of course, and them not giving a flying fuck about anything else but their own salary, and milking the corpo cow as much as they can. However, the topic of how this may affect you personally will come after we dive into this rabbit hole that a company called Medibank has found themselves in. So Medibank, for those of you who don't know, is one of the biggest health insurance companies in Australia, who holds millions of people's private information, both personal, private, and medical history information, which are probably the most valuable and the most important details you can possess on someone. Now, let's just quickly go back to October just for a minute, shall we? Just to catch up on what exactly happened with this company called Medibank. I'm just gonna take you back to Thursday, 13th of October. So right here we can see that on the actual Medibank webpage, there was an update at 11 a.m. Thursday, 13th of October. Yesterday, the Medibank group detected unusual activity on its network. In response to this event, Medibank took immediate steps to contain this event and engaged in specialized cybersecurity firms. Now, I'm not going to read all of this. Obviously, if you want to, you can pause the video. However, I'm just going to quickly run through what exactly happened, because this is some serious shit, and I want you to understand exactly what they've done, or the lack of what they actually did, how they responded, and how they got away with it, basically, okay? And I'm not talking about the hackers, I'm talking about the corporate fucks. So what we know so far is on the 13th of October, they realized something was wrong. Let's go to the 17th real quickly, okay? Our ongoing investigation continues to show no evidence that any customer data has been removed from our IT environment, okay? So this has been 4 days after the initial suspicion that something may have happened, okay? 4 days later, they are saying that their investigation showed no evidence that any data may have leaked or been stolen from their system. This is quite important. Now, bear in mind, we're not talking about the corner shop down the street. We're talking about one of the biggest health insurance companies in Australia. Let's just go to the 19th of October, shall we? Okay, so we want to update you on a new development in relation to the current cyber event. Today we received messages from a group that wishes to negotiate regarding the alleged removal of customer data. Urgent work is underway to establish if the claim is true, although based on our ongoing forensic investigation, we are treating the matter seriously at this time. It's a forensic investigation, guys. Bear in fucking mind, okay? This is 6 days after the initial suspicion that they had on the 13th of October. So this was a day after that their forensic evidence found no leakage, okay? We wanted to update you on the latest developments which the Australian Federal Police is investigating as a crime. Medibank has been contacted by a criminal claiming to have stolen data and who has provided a sample of records for 100 policies which we believe has come from our AHM health insurance and international student system. This information includes first names and surnames, addresses, dates of birth, Medicare numbers, policy numbers, phone numbers. Some claims data including the location of where a customer received medical services and codes relating to their diagnosis and procedures. 100 people, samples. These are samples, bear in mind. Now, if we know anything about samples, they are a small little part of a bigger picture, yeah? This is just to get a taste of what they may have in store for them in the future. But anyway, obviously the updates kept on coming, and they were talking about how they're gonna stop their AHM system. They shut down to sort of make sure that it was safe-proof, and they were sort of updating their customers just so that they can have peace of mind, and they kept on apologizing until the 26th of October. Okay, so again, this is 13 days since the initial suspicion of something going wrong. Since yesterday's announcement, our cybercrime investigation has now established that the criminals had access to all AHM customers' personal data and significant amounts of health claims data. So guys, this isn't just 100 people, okay? This is all of their AHM customers, okay? All international student customers, personal data and significant amount of health claims data. All Medibank customers, personal data and significant amount of health claims data. So basically what they're saying is everyone who was registered, their data has been breached, it's been stolen, and it is being kept somewhere where potentially they cannot recover it at the time. Medibank has sort of launched their sort of support package, which basically includes a mental health and well-being support, hardship support, specialist identity protection support, right? So these are just very basic standard procedures that you at the very minimum should be providing to your customers after basically acknowledging that their data has been stolen completely, okay? So this is nothing to with them being in like knights in shining armor. No, this is the absolute bare minimum, right? And so on the Monday the 7th of November, which actually was this week, yes, this was this Monday. Today, we've announced that no ransom payment will be made to the criminal responsible for this data theft. Now, what I did not mention because it wasn't in the update is that cyber extortionists demanded $10 million, I believe Australian dollars, for all of the data of the clients that they have stolen from Medibank. They gave them 24 hours or a day to comply, otherwise they threatened to start releasing all this information publicly. As we've seen in the update, Medibank quite frankly, refused to comply with these ransom demands. Everything that they had and everything related to the information that they provided to this company for registering, to diagnostics, to treatments, all of this data, this also includes full address, full names, dates of birth, possibly passport numbers. I don't know what sort of medical systems they have there. In the UK, we have NHS numbers. So all of this information that was provided is basically gone and potentially will be leaked because Medibank refuses to pay, right? What's even more interesting is what this says. In a message posted on the dark web early on Thursday morning, the hacker said it was demanding $1 from Medibank, Australia's largest private health insurer, for each of the 9.7 million customers affected in an enormous data breach last month. Okay, so this data breach was basically what we just went through. Medibank CEO David Kotzkar on Thursday condemned the hackers' actions as disgraceful while reiterating an apology to the customers. We remain committed to fully and transparently communicating with customers, and we will be contacting customers whose data has been released on the dark web. Okay? Now, just to summarize everything. Biggest health insurer in Australia, right here, okay? They lose 9.7 million people's private data, medical data, everything you can imagine that's important to you at the moment, right? That's digital, is gone. These people are putting them online where scammers will access your data and they will start calling you, emailing you. They will do everything under the sun that they can to contact you and to scam you in one way or another. You may think, oh, I would never fall for a scam. Yeah, you probably wouldn't, but there are many, many vulnerable elderly or people who have perhaps learning disabilities who will very much fall to crap like this. So the fact that this whole story started on the 13th of October and they haven't actually admitted the fact that they've been completely infiltrated and hacked and all of their customers have been breached until the 26th, which is 13 days later, even though there has been clear signs in those updates, right, means two things. One, either they are acting stupid and they are covering up everything and they knew everything from day one, which then would question the CEO's statement about being transparent with the customers. Or, let's just say, for the benefit of the doubt, maybe they were really that ignorant, okay? Being one of the biggest health insurers in Australia, how the fuck are you not recruiting cybersecurity that is competent enough to work out when they've been fucked in the arse? How does it take 13 days for a company that large, for a company to have funds as much as that company does, to not realize the extent and the scale of the problem that they are in? If this is true and they truly had no idea about this, not only they should pay massive compensation for everyone who was involved, who everyone fell victim to their incompetency, but also should, quite frankly, face jail time. Quite frankly, the problem here is that CEOs care more about their own salaries, their bonuses, and whatever else, other than the actual company that they are running. And this is exactly what happens when you have greedy fucking people running organizations that deal with private information. And the fact that this person now can go to the media, say, oh, I'm really sorry, here's a mental health line just in case you're about to commit suicide or whatever, okay? Just in case if you so the fact that these people can go so just the fact that these people can go on the media and say that, oh, we're really sorry, we fucked up, but you know what, I actually do apologize, and look, here's a the problem is that these people can actually go on the media and apologize for a fuck up as big as this. They get away with this with an apology, and just by saying, oh, well, we fucked up, we are really sorry, and here's a number for the mental health line just in case you need some support. See ya, wouldn't wanna be ya. You know, it's like, that's not how this works, and quite frankly, it is disgusting. And the fact that these people are not investigated criminally for corporate negligence just absolutely boggles my mind. So there we go, boys and girls. We've got massive corporate companies leaking your information, and while you're being fucked by scammers and everyone else who gets their hands on your private information, these people get away with it and cash in because, hey, this is what rich people do. Now, if you think that this is just an Australian a problem in Australia, well, you don't think this, because quite frankly, in any country, any of these huge companies are acting the same way. The only difference is they haven't been targeted yet, because Australia is a isolated country. They aren't really part of any of the bigger networks that we have, like the European Union or the federal states. We will see this more and more often, and quite frankly, the amount of information on you on the internet today is a lot more than you are aware of, because a lot of social media companies, they basically trade your information for money. That's how they survive. That's why they can provide free services. And if these information are so easily accessible, then just imagine what a hacker can do with these informations and what they can do once they sort of build a profile on you. And do not think for a second that this didn't happen with Amazon before. It didn't happen with Sony. It didn't happen with all these big companies that you are registered to. Of course it has. Not to this scale, but it definitely has. And just because it hasn't affected you yet, that doesn't mean that it won't. So I really do urge you to really be careful who you give your information to, and read the terms and conditions, okay? To read what is their responsibility in case of a data breach, because at the end of the day, if this happens to you, you want to sue them, you want to take them to court, you want some sort of compensation, because they will not do it just because of the goodwill of their heart. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe the video if you enjoyed it. Fuck the corporations, and I'll see you in the next one.